I guess the first order of business is we actually need a chairman. So because our chairman won't be here, we need to nominate somebody to be the chairman for the course of the committee meeting. So as
you, Owen.
I was just going to put my hand up because I've kind of signed on as a JavaScript New Zealand kind of account. So if anybody has any objections, please let them be known. Okie dokie, I'll take that as permission for me to kind of just carry on running it a little bit. So I've moved a bunch of issues into the milestone for today, and they weren't pre-organized, so I just randomly picked the ones that looked like we hadn't talked about before. But probably it's just worth. There are 2 issues in last committee meeting milestone that we haven't closed off. I just want to make sure they're being worked on. So I'll hand over to Alex for the first one, which is to move the financial year change over to the 1st of April. So how's that progressing?
So I've sent the forms away to IRD, but strangely enough, I haven't heard anything back from them. So I'm going to need a follow-up to make sure that they got the forms. But I filled out all of the forms to get us an IRD number and to assign the date to the date that we've requested, which is the normal start of financial year. Yeah, pending hearing back from them, I assume that it's just normal IRD delays. I don't know how long this thing normally takes.
Yeah, I don't have any insight either, but I'll mark that as still in your court.
Yeah, I'll follow them up, see what's going on.
Okay, great. If you could just let us know and make sure that doesn't drop off your radar, as it were. The other one that was open is figuring out how donations would work. I don't know. There was talk about creating a sponsorship prospectus, I can't even say that word. And that was in your ball court, Alex, again?
Yeah, other than meeting with a bunch of companies to talk about it, I haven't come up with any solid proposal documentation yet. I was kind of focusing on raising sponsorship for NodeBots instead. It's still something that's on my plate, and I've got it on my to-do list. It's just dropped down a little bit lower than NodeBots. So yeah, my apologies. Dropped the ball on that one.
That's all good. That's understandable. I'll move those 2 issues into this milestone, and just so we can close off last meeting's milestone, and then we'll just mark them as we're working on them. Everybody happy with that? Cool. So I guess the first one to do or to talk about is where did it go? So number 14, because this has been sitting open for quite a while. This is enshrining an anti-harassment policy, so we should make sure that we do that. So let's make that the first call of business. Blair, do you want to talk us through this?
Yeah, that's me. I put up the draft for that a while ago and got people to look through it and comment on it. I think most people are generally pretty happy with it. The one issue we did have is whether we should, if we have a problem, whether we should explicitly state in the policy whether we should, talk about that publicly. And I think it's pretty well decided that we shouldn't have that in the policy, but instead exchange that wording for, say, contact the New Zealand Police if need be, if it comes to that. And so I've updated text for that. Other than that, I mean, no one seemed to have any issues with it, so I think we're ready to vote that in. And we decided to vote that in as a committee, as a bylaw, rather than voting it in at the AGM through members, because this isn't something that we want to let slip past, such that we never have a code of contact. Yeah.
Okay then. So I guess all those in favour just say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. So I will close that issue and merge in the code of contact.
I'll merge that in because I've got that edit to put in that isn't in the pull request yet.
Okay. I will comment, and you can close it as soon as it's merged in, if that's all right by you. Okay, so what else have we got? We have the one from Craig talking about discussion about AV equipment for meetups. So Craig, do you want to maybe take this one?
Yeah, there was some brief discussion about it a while ago. I can't remember exactly who that was with, but we discussed having some sort of setup, whether it's microphones and cameras or whatever it might be, similar to how we ship the NodeBot stuff around the country. We could ship the cameras, decent quality ones, so that we could actually record meetups, record the talks, and then put them online somewhere so people can listen to them who weren't necessarily in the city. It's probably a long shot. I mean, that stuff tends to be reasonably expensive, but it would be cool to at least discuss it, I think.
So I've been doing a bit of digging around on this, and I gave it a shot at the last Node.js meetup I ran. I was using a 5D Canon 5D Mark II with a Rode video mic, and it was terrible. I would not recommend doing that. And I was also using a webcam at the same time with one of the mics that we have for our conferencing at Atomic. That was also terrible. It focused in and out on the speaker, and it's just blurry. So both of them are equally terrible. And so I came to the point where I needed recommendation of good amateur level gear, I'd say, not professional level, and I couldn't find anyone that would give like a good recommendation. So I don't know if there's just no decent gear out there for meetups in particular, or whether I need to find a professional that would recommend some amateur gear.
So
we just had
No, after you.
I just had a couple of thoughts. One was at the last Wellington JavaScript meetup, Nick Johnston, who presented, recorded his screen, and I thought that was an interesting idea, like kind of a lo-fi alternative, which means you don't actually video the speaker, but you might get to see the slides and might be able to have good, kind of reasonably high quality of what the speaker is talking about if they're kind of presenting close or doing a demo. The other thing I was going to say was that we earlier in this week we've got kind of acoustic issues with our meeting room, as Alex will tell you about, but we had a sound engineer come in, and one thing he's recommended a boundary mic and a preamp, a USB kind of sound card preamp that is suitable for a meeting room and might work with small meetups. And so one thing we could try is that once we get that kit at Atomic at the next Node.js meetup, we could try again with that kit as a recommendation, and that was about, I think the cost all up for those things was around about $700, so not ridiculous, but that was just for sound, not for video.
So at TradeMe we have our all company meetings, which are recorded and broadcast to Auckland and Christchurch, as well as Friday night talks, which are recorded as well. The Angular JS meetup guys were talking about doing a meetup at TradeMe with us, and we thought we could try out our kit to record that stuff there, see how that went, and then I mean I don't know what sort of level the gear is there, but if that was working, we could at least check it out. It's just a camera on a tripod with some mics, so I don't imagine it being hugely expensive, but there's also that possibility.
I mean, everybody talking about expensive. Alex, do we have any kind of budget for this kind of stuff in the society?
I was going to use it out of the Node.js meetup money that I raised. So I raised $1,200 for the Wellington Node.js meetup, and then when I was talking to the people, when I was talking to the attendees about where the money should go, whether we should just buy beer and pizza or whether we should invest in some sound equipment to start recording and putting these things online, it was pretty much unanimous that everyone's like, oh, we can just get beer and pizza before the meetup and you should totally record the meetup. I don't know whether it's fair on the sponsors for the gear to be shipped to other meetups. Maybe it is. Maybe we just reflect that Catalyst and stuff.co.nz pitched in to help these meetups be recorded. Otherwise, we still have unallocated money from memberships signups. It's probably not enough to buy $1,000 worth of gear though. and we haven't really decided what to do with that money anyway. So I'm not sure whether we propose to spend it on this or yeah.
So I think we need to kind of work out. Sorry, Jen.
Sorry. That's right. I'd be pretty surprised if sponsors wouldn't have. I'd be surprised if sponsors had a problem with us promoting them at more events than they originally bargained for.
Yeah, but the original intent that I had with sponsoring was for beer and pizza. That's how I proposed it. So I'll just have to go back to them and say, look, we're changing it to buy some gear, and you're going to get more. You'll be shown off at more meetups than normal. So if they said no to that, I'd be very surprised, like you said.
But the other side of it is they're probably not sponsoring beer and pizza in terms of they don't get any value out of you eating pizza or drinking beer. They actually get value of you mentioning their companies or their companies being associated with the user group. So.
And if they're mentioned online, then it's even better, right?
Yeah, totally. What I propose is that we try and get a kit that, or a budget for a kit, so we work out how much it's going to cost, and then we can probably vote on actually spending the money on something. But we probably need to know what that cost is before we kind of. So let's do a proposal that we investigate the cost of a good kit, and we work out what that kit's going to be.
Just a small thing. It looks like we've got 2 open issues for very similar things. We've got discussion about AV equipment for meetups, which is issue 15, but we also have sourcing video recording capabilities for meetups, issue 33. So probably we just want to close one of those and focus on one of them.
Yep, 33 has more comments, so let's keep that one open, and we'll merge in the other issue into that, and we'll just try and work out a kit. So if anybody wants to contribute to that thread and just kind of propose videos or microphones that we might want to get, and then we'll pick the ones that we want to kind of put budget towards, and then we'll work out if we've got budget for it. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yep.
We've discussed it anyway, so 15's done.
Okay, sorry, the next one is, I'm just randomly picking these, so if you want to throw one in, that's fine, but I thought issue 24, I haven't read it before, so I'm just reading it now. It's around ratifying a method for voting and meeting quorum. I'm pretty sure that's in the rules, is it not, Blair?
No, it isn't exactly. But sort of essentially decided on what we want, or I think decide on something and document that and follow it in the future. But yeah, the rules don't state anything about it. If anyone has any ideas.
So sorry, you broke up a little bit there for me, so I didn't quite hear what you said. But so there's no rules around quorums for meetings, but there must be a rule around quorums for committee meetings, aren't there?
There's rules around numbers required sites. That leaves your method of voting and so forth, and up to us. And I think explicitly on something have adopted refer to it.
Okay, this is a conversation that's probably best done online on Slack or on the issue thread. So we probably need to just put some focus on this before the next meeting. Work out what we want. I mean, I don't know how well the voting worked at the last AGM, for example. You know, the thumbs up on Slack, but we can solicit feedback. Let's put it that way, and ask people what they thought. And we can go from there, and with the aim of maybe not in the next committee meeting, but the committee meeting after that, actually having that fully documented, because then we'll be running up towards the next AGM, because the AGM will be brought forward next time, won't it?
I believe somebody suggested in the channel that there is a third-party add-on for Slack that provides specific voting capability. So it might be worth somebody investigating that.
Okay. Let's leave that one as a thread to expand, and not necessarily just as a committee issue. Let's open it up to the whole membership and ask them what they think, and we'll try and make sure that we have this nailed down and sorted before the next AGM. Hello, Kevin.
Hello.
Welcome to the meeting.
And
Thank you.
Walter,
Sorry,
by
I'm
the
late.
way.
That's all right. You haven't missed a huge amount. We're just going through all the issues in the milestone for this committee meeting. We've talked about AV equipment, and we're going to try and put together a wish list for a budget AV equipment that we might want to purchase as a society to send around user groups. We're going to merge in the anti-harassment policy, and we were just talking about ratifying methods for voting and quorums for our AGM, which we have decided to carry on the discussion online on GitHub. Did I miss anything? Okay, everybody's shaking their heads, so that will be it. So issue number 34, which your perfect timing for this one, Kev. This is you. This is something we discussed at the last committee meeting, but you weren't there. And it was around what we can do and how we can help facilitate communication between user groups, so facilitate meetups. Does anybody else want to grab this and talk about what we talked about last time?
I think we pretty much things that we as JavaScript New Zealand could do to facilitate or help out local user groups. And it sounds like the main things would be sponsorship or help get sorting out venues. But we don't want to just sort of decide that we know what the right thing is for meetups. So probably we need to start communicating with some of the meetup organisers around the country. And I think there was some suggestion, Kevin, that you might have some interest in this, and I guess we wanted to see if that was something you were sort of interested in doing some legwork on.
Absolutely, that sounds good. Definitely keen with that.
Okay, so I think the aim was that we would elect you, Kevin, to be our user group mouthpiece, if you like, our point of contact, so the person that people can come and talk to from user groups and have a contact within the JavaScript Society. So it will essentially be an officer role, which will be our user group liaison. Are you happy to take that role?
Yeah, totally happy to take that role.
Does that come with a megaphone?
I'm sort of making this up as I go along, but I'll put something on the Slack channel about the fact that I'm doing this and that people who are interested should join in, and maybe I'll create a sub-project of the of our GitHub account, and we can have separate sets of issues in there. Probably makes the most sense, so we don't have a lot of spam everywhere. And perhaps I'll put it on the committee. The JavaScript New Zealand Twitter account, so that we hit people that aren't on the Slack as well.
Speaking of
yeah,
subcommittees, we've got a Nodebot subcommittee, and I don't know whether we have any rules around subcommittees, if they're official, legitimate things, or we just spin them off whenever we want.
I think the only rule is that you have to use air quotes when you say subcommittee.
Okay.
I thought you had decided that you hadn't formed a subcommittee.
It's a group of people that runs Nodebots now, so we just don't call ourselves a committee because they didn't want to be called a committee. But they're effectively a subcommittee.
Okay.
Sorry, subcommittee.
I don't think there are any qualms with you just organising those things as a subcommittee, and we'll work those out. Do what you need to do to get the job done, and we'll work out the rest later on. that would be my only advice.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I'll mark that one as being organised by Jen. You're setting up the organisation to run maybe a JSConf, maybe something else. If you need any help or any advice, or just want to pick brains, then I'm more than happy to help out from that point of view. But obviously, I'll be running another big conference that I'll be putting my time into, so I don't want to get on to another batch of picking speakers and that kind of stuff. So I'll help where I can. But I think it's a great idea, and I'm glad we're all behind it. So that's the end of my official issues, but I know, Alex, you raised something in Slack just earlier, so do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, currently spending more time on NodeBots than I am on the treasurer role, and I think I basically need some help on the treasurer role, and Owen put his hand up to me privately through Slack, and I said, okay, we'll raise it at the meeting. So I think you, in the Slack channel, you said that it's okay to hand over a position, be it temporary or whatever, but basically, I need help. So whether I hand over the role to Owen or permanently or temporarily, however that works.
So I think you can just remain treasurer until you resign, and I'll give you as much help as you need. So as far as I'm concerned, I'll do as much of the treasurer work as needs doing. My main one is we need to sort out an accountant, so I'll start looking. Have you looked into any of that yet?
There's a GitHub issue with 2 proposed accountants, and they're both quite well priced. I approached Inspiral, and Jen recommended someone as well from memory. Is that correct, Jen?
Yeah, I recommended, I can't remember the name, but they're a internet-based firm, so that's kind of good because we've got committee members around the country or whatever. If Treasurer switches next year, it might be good to have a business whose primary method of communication is email. That was why I suggested them.
Cool. And Inspiral Accounting gave us a discount. Their quote was a huge discount because we're effectively a non-profit, but just not by the books. So
sorry, I was going to say I'll do some research on them both, and I'll bring a proposal next committee meeting as to which one we should go for. And we'll vote, and we'll pick an accountant because I'm just not happy that we're doing quite a lot of accounting without any oversight of somebody who actually knows accounting.
You worked at Xero, and we've got Walter. What else do we need?
As long as we've got Walter looking at it. You know. So I'm happy to help you out as much as you need. I don't think we need to you don't need to officially resign the role if you're happy to be called the treasurer. And just the main thing about that will be your name will be on any of the reports, so you need to make sure you're comfortable with them. We'll see if you've got enough time for that. If you don't have time for it, then obviously you'll just have to do an official resignation in writing, and we can elect somebody else up until the next AGM.
Okay, that's cool. So I'm puppet treasurer, and you're the shadow cabinet.
Okay, does anybody have any other business?
I don't know whether I said it last time, but I raised another $2,000 from our Fero for NodeBots. I think this is news since the last meeting, so it's another goal. And we're still trying to figure out what we spend the money on, just having chats on Slack about what to buy. The latest ones is getting into biometrics, getting some brain scanners or 3D printers. So if anyone has any ideas, just throw them on Slack.
I had one other thing, which was that I'm not sure what happened to the issue, but the website seems to have bubbled under again, so I don't know if we somebody wants to see if they can drive getting that up and online, even with some very basic content, some links to the Slack channel and a half a paragraph about how you register, that would be amazing.
On my list,
Yeah.
you know, that from trust there.
I couldn't hear any of that, Blair.
Sorry, my list. I didn't get to that. Need to find time.
Okay, if you don't find time this month, can you holler out, and can somebody else jump in and start helping out as much as possible?
I'd be happy to pick that up if you're struggling with time. I'll probably have a bit of downtime over the break, Blair, so that might be kind of a useful distraction whilst the family's driving me nuts.
That'd be wonderful. Thank you.
Cool.
I can help out as well if there's more to be done.
Either that or Graham's not here. You could just nominate him.
I like it. Nominate the people who aren't here. Playground rules. Love it. Okay, so do yell out for help, Blair, but let's aim to get it up before the new year, if we can. Okay, if nobody has anything else, then we'll call this committee meeting finished. Thank you very much, everybody, for your time. And we'll reconvene in probably February now. I think having a committee meeting in January might just be a bit crazy for everybody. So let's aim for early February for the next committee meeting. Does everybody agree?
Sure.
Sounds good.
Bingo. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day, and enjoy Christmas and New Year as well. Enjoy the
Cheers,
season.
Thanks for chairing as well.
No worries. Take care.
Cheerio.
Everybody.
See y'all.
Toodaloo.
Well,